Do you remember when Elvis Presley was banned from TV because of his dance moves? Or when you can hear conversations on the phone without the other person knowing? If these memories make you smile, just wait to see what else we're bringing you in this video. Number 1. The Mickey Mouse Club and Mouseketeers. Who remembers rushing home after school to sing along with Mickey and the Mickey Mouse Club? Walt Disney created this fantastic kids' TV show in 1955. Children would sit in front of the TV, excited to see the Mouseketeers. Jimmie Dodd was the friendly host who started the show with a fun march, and Funicello, Cubby O'Brien, and Karen Pendleton were everyone's favorite. The best part of the show was when Cubby would sing, "Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company," followed by Jimmie Dodd saying, "See you real soon." Why? Because we like you. The show ended with everyone singing "Mickey Mouse." But this is just the beginning. The next entry is about a musical legend who got everyone dancing to his incredible sound. Number 2. Elvis Presley. I'll never forget the first time I heard Elvis Presley sing on the radio. He sang songs like Heartbreak Hotel and Can't Help Falling in Love, which were fan favorites. Elvis was a rock and roll star, mixing country music with rhythm and blues to create something unique. He had this fabulous look and greased back hair with sideburns, but it was his hips that made him famous. And when he gyrated his hips while singing, the TV censors went nuts. Girls screamed their hearts out in excitement. Elvis was a musical sensation in the 1950s and 1960s. Why not share your favorite Elvis song with us? Number 3. Diners and Jukeboxes. Before McDonald's was asking, "Where's the beef?" teenagers loved hanging out at small diners and greasy spoons with jukeboxes and soda fountains. When the school day was over, kids flocked to the local diner. They ordered hamburgers and milkshakes, pumped the jukebox with nickels to play their favorite songs. Buzzing with life, diners became classic icons with black and white checkered floor tiles, red vinyl dining booths, and Formica tabletops. It was fun dropping in a nickel, picking your favorite songs, and watching the jukebox's light flash as the robot arm found your 45 as everyone sang along. Those were the days when life was much simpler, and people enjoyed the company of friends. These jukeboxes were so popular because they were responsible for 75% of all records produced in the US. Speaking of music, remember showing off your impressive dance moves with your friends? This memory remains evergreen. Number 4. Paper maps before GPS. Imagine life without GPS when travelers relied on paper maps to find their way around new cities. Remember when Dad was driving and Mom would try to navigate him while reading his paper map that was so large that it covered an entire arm span? Sometimes they would pull over and stand in the middle of the street with this large map trying to find their way, and then the explorer would squint to find where they are. From the street names to landmarks, these clues are drawn on this paper. It's left for you to know the right turn. You can still refer to this map for help if you miss your way. Of course, finding new places was stressful and slower, but it made long trips more adventurous. Number 5. Drinking Tang. Do you remember when Tang went to the moon on Apollo 8? Tang was that bright orange powder you mix with water to make a neon orange drink that was super sweet. But then this drink wasn't healthy. Its major ingredients were sugar and even more sugar. But as a kid, you didn't care as much. Tang became a big deal in 1962 when astronaut John Glenn drank it during his first trip around the world. Children were excited and wanted to be like him. They drank lots of Tang, hoping to become space adventurers. Did you know that Tang was invented in 1957 but wasn't popular until space missions? If you ever drank Tang, say thank you to John Glenn in the comments below. This next memory from the past brought families together for hours. Can you guess what it was? Number 6. Watching TV on big televisions. Remember how everyone sat and watched Neil Armstrong take his first steps on the moon? Those were exciting times. In the 60s, the high-tech flat-screen TVs had small square screens, but came in bulky wooden boxes. These TVs quickly became the focal point of every living room in the US, even though they only transmitted 4 stations and went off air from midnight to 7 a.m. But then, these TVs brought families together for entertainment. The pictures were black and white, and everyone loved it. It was only in 1954 that the first ever colored TV broadcast happened. but most families couldn't afford color TVs till the mid-1960s. Do you remember when your parents got their first color TV? The TV experience was a whole different ballgame compared to now. Do you doubt me? Then keep watching. Number 7. Banana bikes. Do banana bikes look familiar? These unique bikes had high-rise handlebars and banana-shaped seats. They looked just like chopper motorcycles, making them the coolest ride for kids. The first one was produced in 1963, and kids loved them because they were comfortable and had padded seats big enough to carry their best friends. With 2 kids on the seat and 1 on the handlebars, these bikes were a great way to give your friends a lift. Their unique design made it easy to pop wheelies, so kids loved them even more. Riding a banana bike in the neighborhood felt like freedom. Even though mountain bikes eventually took over, baby boomers still believed banana bikes were the best. And now let's shift gears onto something that filled our hearts with joy. Number 8. Bouncing the SuperBall. If you don't remember the SuperBall, then something is wrong. This ball was invented by a chemical engineer who accidentally created a super bouncy plastic. This ball was made from a special material called Zectron, which allowed it to bounce up to 6 times higher than any other ball. When Whammo saw potential in this, he repackaged it as a SuperBall. This ball was a massive hit in the 60s. Kids everywhere loved them because they could bounce incredibly high. In fact, Whammo sold over 20 million SuperBalls. The only problem with these were that they bounced so fast and so hard. It was difficult to find where they landed. Tell us in the comments, have you ever lost yours? You might have this game console if you didn't have a SuperBall. Number 9. Atari Video Game Console. The Atari Video Game Console dates back to the 70s. Even if you didn't own one, you knew someone who did, which made you jealous, so you would hang out at their house waiting your turn to play Pong, a game of tennis on a black screen with a white ball that bounced from one side of the screen to the other. That you hit with a white paddle, which became a massive hit. Playing video games at home without worrying about having enough quarters felt like an invention from the future. Atari brought the arcade right into your living room and was the best thing that ever happened to gaming. Some people enjoyed playing the game called Adventure, which consisted of you being a dot and trying to get a key to unlock the gate, and you could be eaten by a dragon. It was from games like these that the video game revolution started. What was your favorite video game? Before we continue, be sure to smash that subscribe button and comment "I subbed" to be entered into our monthly shoutout draw. This week's shoutout giveaway goes to Fanny Bo Banny. Thanks for being a part of the family, and let's keep it going. Number 10. 110 film cameras. Did you ever use a 110 film camera? These pocket-sized cameras were so popular in the 70s and 80s. It was super easy to take pictures with them, and the click was satisfying. The film cartridges were also tiny and easy to load. Every shot was suspense waiting to be unraveled because you wouldn't immediately see the photo. You had to wait until you finished the white roll and developed it at the local film store. There was something magical about seeing the outcome of these pictures. Fortunately, 110 film cameras gave way to digital cameras and smartphones. We now take instant photos with 0 waiting times. Number 11. Telephone booths. Many years ago, it was common to spot telephone booths on the corner of the street. These glass panel booths were readily available for anyone who needed to make a quick call. All you needed to do was step inside, close the door, and pick up the heavy receiver. After dropping a quarter into the slot, you dial the number and you've made a paid phone call. As innovative as this was, they slowly disappeared immediately after cell phones emerged. Suddenly, you didn't need a telephone booth to make a call or carry coins specially for it. What if we had a modern version of telephone booths? Would you patronize it? Number 12. Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages used to be a go-to for finding anything and everything. From grocery stores to plumbers and hardware stores, everything was in this book. Users would flip through the pages to see bold listings and ads staring at them. You patiently move from one page to the other, searching for the perfect service before grabbing a phone and placing a call. Yellow Pages were a staple in every home. But as time passed, the internet became a game changer. With only a few clicks, you could get all the information you need. And the best part is that you can expand your search to the rest of the world. It makes it more exciting. Number 13. Waiting for the phone. Remember the days when you would wait to use the phone? Every family had just one rotary phone in the house. If someone was using it, you had to wait for your turn. But if you lived in a rural area, it was even worse. You had what was called a party line, which meant you shared your phone line with your neighbors. You would pick up the receiver to make the call and hear the conversation your neighbor was having. There was plenty of eavesdropping going on back then. Those were the days. We wouldn't have that patience today, that's too obvious. But hey, we still miss those days when making calls was a big deal. If you phoned someone, they knew you genuinely cared about them. Number 14. Audio cassettes. Audio cassettes were those small boxes with a long strip of tape inside that played music or recorded voices. Sometimes these tapes became loose and came out of the cassette. You'll then have to use your finger or a pencil to put it back in. It got tangled or broken if you did it incorrectly. Cassette tapes were fun though. They allowed you to record your voice or mix tapes of your favorite songs and share them with friends. But then CDs came along and changed everything. CDs were easier to use, and you didn't have to deal with annoying tapes popping out. Only problem was that you couldn't just record any song from the radio or your voice like you did with cassettes. Number 15. Annoying your sibling on road trips. Remember those long road trips in the 60s and 70s when you and your siblings piled into your parents' station wagon? There were no iPads or smartphones to keep kids entertained, so everyone found their own fun. Mom would pack snacks and sandwiches for the trip, and you'd stop at picnic stops along the way because there was no eating in the car. This meant being trapped with your annoying siblings in the back seat, whether it was playing I Spy for hours or the alphabet game, finding objects from A to Z, and whoever got to Z first won. It was also about who was the craziest kid till your parents had enough of the antics and someone had to go sit in between them to break it up. When everyone returned from the trip, your parents always said they would never do it again. Number 16. Saturday for cartoons. Remember when Saturdays were all about cartoons? Saturday morning was your only chance if you wanted to watch Bugs Bunny, Fred Flintstone, or any of your favorite characters. If you missed it, you had to wait a week for the next episode. Those precious few hours of animated bliss were a big deal. We'd wake up early, grab our cereal, and gather in front of the TV, soaking in every minute. Missing an episode felt like the end of the world, but it made those Saturday mornings even more special. This next memory would leave you laughing out loud. Number 17. Floppy disks. Do you remember how we all had to save things on our floppy disks? Storing a whole 2.8 megabytes of information was a big deal back then. It might seem funny, but that's how complex it was. Floppy disks came in all sorts of sizes. Only in 1987 was the 2.8 megabyte version released. As storage technology improved and demand increased, floppy disks became obsolete, and we barely talk about them today. You can still find them through those cute little save icons on programs like Microsoft Word today. Even though they're no longer available, they were a big part of the tech industry. Floppy disks remind us of how far we've come in the digital age. Next is this iconic store from the past. Number 18. Video stores. Video stores were popular shops where you could rent movies on VHS tapes. But hey, there's one condition for returning those movies. You'll be asked to rewind it. If you didn't, you might be fined. And even worse is that the next person renting it has to rewind it themselves. Rewinding these tapes was a chore, but visiting video stores was exciting. You're allowed to browse the shelves and pick your favorite movie. Like with most inventions on this list, it disappeared. DVDs and streaming services took away all the stress of rewinding. You can now watch a movie without visiting any store or be compelled to rewind. Number 19. VHS. Home videos have come a long way since the 80s. VHS tapes were the primary way to watch movies at home years ago. They were a cheaper alternative with lower quality. VHS tapes dominated the home video market and stood their ground during the Laserdisc craze in the early 90s. It wasn't until DVDs came out that VHS tapes vanished. Today, they are collector's items that bring back those beautiful memories. At least we had a good time before Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, and the like became popular. Another tech piece that got us grooving was the Walkman. Number 20. Record players and turntables. The record player is often considered one of the most significant inventions in home entertainment, having delivered music into our households for over 100 years. Do you remember having this in your house and your parents, family members, or friends would use it? Interest in record players has surged in recent years, driven by the rising popularity of vinyl records. Many people appreciate the superior sound quality of analog music, while others enjoy the nostalgia associated with using a record player. Which of these memories did you love the most? Did we miss any? Please tell us in the comments below.